All right, so we've got the camera working better again, and now we've let the body dry overnight, and it's safe now to put tape on it. And what we're going to do is we're going to add the black stripes to the front and the back of the body, and we're going to do it with the green tape and the blue tape and the blue mask, and with the use of the projector, which we have left set up so that we can easily just line up the front of the guitar first and then flip it and do the back. So I'll see you in a second over at the projector. All right, so we got the projector set up. Now it's just a matter of laying the body down again till it matches the image. Almost there, and I think that's it right there. So we just follow this stripe, this stripe, this stripe, this stripe, this stripe, and this stripe. Now this over here is actually a piece of probably either gaff tape or sort of black medical sort of gauzy kind of tape that I guess was put on after the guitar was built to indicate where the input jack was, so it could be found easily without kind of futzing around with the thing. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start taping off. And we're going to use the blue tape and the green tape. The blue tape's actually for the back, for that kind of curved stripe. And we'll use this green tape for all the other stripes, front and back. And I'll show you a little something for that as well. A little to do there. So we'll just start off first with, let's say, this horn stripe, right? And we just kind of put that guy on. Okay. And we'll go to this one. This one actually continues around the back. I believe that is the case. So once we get it all kind of striped, we'll do a little bit of finagling. We have both the front and the back done to kind of help make everything kind of line up. Okay, so those two are done. Now these stripes are weird. This kind of narrows here, gets fatter as it goes along, and this stripe goes this way and then stops, and then you got another, it kind of takes a broken turn there. So I think this was done with cardboard, like just laying cardboard down on the body. So we're going to start off like this basically, all right? And we just kind of follow this, because this stripe really is not consistent at all. All right, there we go. We're going to leave it hanging over, and we'll use a razor to cut out the in-between there. Just going to cut this so I can do it easier. this has to be narrowed a tiny bit. There we go. Alright, so that stripe looks good. Now we're going to go do the one that goes across this way. Okay. Now here's where it kind of goes wacky. Right about where the 0 is. So we kind of scoot the tape to kind of conform to that wacky sort of line that isn't really straight at all. And we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. It's good that we've got Linus playing in the background. Yesterday, when I was peeling the guitar, or when the camera messed up, what was they got it tuned to a classical station, my radio here, and they were playing some Stravinsky. And I'll tell you, that guy was crazy. I mean, that's the closest thing I think you're going to get to jazz music and the classical genre. Very chaotic. Maybe that's why the camera malfunctioned. Maybe it didn't like Stravinsky. I'm not a huge fan of his either. Although it's, you know, obviously it has its good parts, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are big fans. I think I like listening to that kind of stuff, the classical kind of stuff. I guess I like it to be more ordered. Maybe Mozart. I don't know. I don't know very much anyway. Alright, we got this guy here that we're going to do, and this kind of comes, this is an angular one as well. It's fatter up by the humbucker route and then kind of thinner as it comes down to the edge of the body. There we go. Looks pretty good there. Then we've got this stripe here, and it's kind of faded, right? So I think the tape was maybe, or the box was lifting up, and some of the overspray from the black got under the box and kind of made a faded line. Like the stripe should have been, let me show you, kind of what I think it was supposed to look like. But didn't. I think the stripe was supposed to look like just a stripe here, not this part, but just this part here. But the box was lifted up, so it kind of oversprayed underneath there. So to kind of do that look, I'm just going to go ahead and, you know, get it on the line, right, that I want. Right, so that's what it ended up looking like. And when I tape off the guitar, I'm going to make a little bit of a uplift in a piece of tape, kind of like let me show you. This won't be the one, but it'll kind of look like this. You know, where you can kind of get your space underneath there that the overspray will get under and sort of fade off. like the guitar actually had. So I'm going to go ahead and peel this piece off again. If I can get it off. This is that super sticky 322 tape. Alright, so we got the front basically taped off. Now I'm going to set up for the back of the guitar, so I'm going to have to move the projector around a little bit. So I'm going to pause the tape here and be right back. Okay, so we reset the projector again for the back image. Now it's just a matter again of taking the body and laying it back into the place it was when we taped it off. Sometimes it can be a little tricky to get it right back where you had it. That looks like it. Alright, so we're going to be doing this stripe here, which actually mates up quite nicely with this. You can see there's a little bit of green tape here and here, right where that stripe kind of approaches. And also here as well. There's a piece here and a piece here. So we're going to peel up, let's say this piece here a little bit. Like so. And this piece up a little bit. And this piece up a little bit. And then we can kind of make these two pieces sort of meet. Alright, so for the first one over here, we can just take this piece from the front and kind of zip it over, right? To where it kind of joins the black line, or defines the outside of it. And I think we're going to use the blue tape again, like I said, for the back, as it has that ability to kind of flex and conform to curves and distortions and things. I'd really like to know, how much of this is skewed from the photograph and how much of this was like a result of what Paul Unkert actually was doing. That would be interesting to me. Okay. Now the thing is, you want this line, there's really no red gap in the in his guitar, so you want to expose a little bit of the white on the edge here. I mean, just like just a sliver, Get it right on that line to just a sliver exposed. I think we have it there. Now we come to this side here. There we go. All right, so that's our black line here. Now we can go ahead and complete this line here. Starting there. And then we just kind of let this line kind of follow the original sort of image there. There we go. And now we'll do the other side of the line. Get a little more on top of it so I can see this better. There we go. Okay. So I believe that is it. So I'm going to shut the projector down. At this point, we're going to tape off the rest of the guitar, everything that we don't want kind of coated in black, as well as sort of make these areas join. All right, so I'm going to shut it off here and we'll continue at the table. All right, so the guitar is on the table now. And what we're going to do is first, obviously, remove the tape that's inside the lines here. And I've got a really sharp, brand new box cutter blade, which I'm going to use to do that. And I'm going to take my little ruler to help me in that task of getting it exactly where I want it. And then lightly score it. Right? Find it easier to do it from the outside of the line to the inside, so I'm going to turn the guitar around to get this side. Okay, then we can just peel that whole area up. Put it in our tape ball. Then we've got to remove these two lines here. So we'll do the same thing. Now, an interesting thing about like the stripe pattern or whatever, probably a lot of people already know this, but I didn't. And just this year, a friend stopped by, actually Greg, my business partner at Three Monkeys, stopped by with a friend of his that was touring, was on the crew touring with a band that was coming through. And they stopped by my house here. And he saw all the insanity, I guess, all these guitars lying around. So what he showed me was, and I can't remember the name of it, name of the guy, but there was a, let's say a motocross rider in the 70s that had his helmet painted in red, orange, and white stripes. And he was in Southern California. He was a fairly well-known rider. And his name escapes me right now, which is crazy. But I'll put it in the description if I can find out who it is. But I'm wondering if Eddie sort of, because I know there were all those pictures of him on a motocross bike. I'm wondering whether he was aware of this guy and sort of paid homage to him by sort of making his guitar look like this rider's helmet. So anyway, it's a possibility. You never know. So now what we're going to do is what we talked about before, was trying to make these two stripes become, or rather this stripe and this stripe, be a contiguous, sort of continuous. Contiguous is more like geographical. Continuous stripe. So I'm going to kind of cheat these two things to kind of meet one another. Right? So that one, and then this one. And now we've got this stripe kind of coming over the top of the guitar and continuing down the back. Alright, so I'm going to peel this piece up and cheat it a little bit more over to this side. Now it strikes me as odd that this would be what happened if Unkert used boxes to kind of lay out the stripe pattern. Because how could a box continue over the other side? That doesn't make sense to me. So maybe he did do stripes with tape. I don't know. Alright, so now we got to do this sort of line here to get these two together. So I'm going to peel this back. Alright. Where's my blade? Help me lift this up. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to kind of find the happy medium between the two of how the two want to kind of play together. So let's say, yeah, move this back a little bit. Kind of cheat that way. And then we'll kind of cheat this one this way. That looks like a good straight line, sort of, the tape coming over the top. Now this one has to be cheated a little bit towards this side. Right? I'm going to chop off, get my scissors. It's a little long, so I'm going to go ahead and chop off some of it. Right here. Okay. Bring it down. Now this piece will kind of come around. And there we have that stripe kind of now becoming a continuous stripe around the guitar. Now there's still some more kind of detail to do. Now where do these stripes kind of end, right? I've got another guitar that I did a while back, and you can kind of see that there was this kind of mess up here as well, that the stripe continued all the way around to the back of the body, right? But had this blowout in that area. So I kind of like to do that the same way as I did the other thing here. So I grab my tape, and what we're going to do is we're going to continue these lines . So I'm going to cut two pieces. Okay. All right. So that's sort of that line. And then what we can do is just basically peel up this tape, right? Like that. Swing this around. Yeah. Get both of them together. Got a little too stuck here. So we're going to loosen this up a tiny bit. Just lay it back down, lay this on top of it. Right, now we can peel the whole thing kind of up. And now if you can see there, it leaves kind of an open gap. So that'll simulate that kind of blowout with the paint stripe. Now same thing kind of over here, right? So we don't want any paint to get beyond this line here. So that's the hard line. Hold on to this. That's rather inconvenient. Have people calling me while I'm doing this. It's amazing how the spammers now, they spoof your number to make you think your neighbors are calling you. Just change 1 or 2 digits, or sometimes they'll put an area code in of a place that you used to live and then combine it with some digits that are close to something you know as well. But anyway, we don't want any of this paint to go beyond this hard line here, but we want it faded around that area. So I'm just going to protect a little bit more of this here, right? And well, before we do this, that little sort of like, let's say, lean-to overhang tent thing for it, we got to decide where these 2 stripes end on the sides. And like on this guitar, which is pretty much I can show you easier on, it ends really just about where the radius of the roundover ends. So we can basically kind of tape that off with a piece of tape here, right? About like that, right? And then on the inside horn of the horn, same place. Right about like there. So that's pretty much how you have that. Now for the fade, what I'll do is I'll take a piece of the larger tape, right, and just take a chunk off of this. About that much. And then I'll just kind of there we go. I'll press it down on the outside edge here, but leave this part open. Right, so if you can see in there, there's kind of a place for the spray to get into, but not a lot of it. So it'll kind of act as like a lean-to shelter for it and kind of fade that stripe a little bit towards the edges. Just like if the box were kind of off the guitar body. Okay, now we've got to end this stripe here. So let's go to the guitar again. And you know, some people may say I'm doing this wrong, and if I'd like to know if my pictures or I don't have the right photos, but that ends about halfway in the white line. So I'm going to go ahead again and end that line with a piece of the green tape. About like that. And then the sort of goofy line, the curved line, let's see where that ends. That ends right inside the radius as well, the roundover radius. So I could go ahead and just grab another piece of this. And just lay it in there. Something like that. Alright, so we basically have the borders. Well, did we do this one? No, we haven't. Alright, so we got to do this top top piece, right? And let's make this line a little straighter, because this one's pretty straight. We got a little curve on this tape. So I'm going to peel up this end and kind of lay it straighter. There we go. That looks good. So let's go again to the guitar and we'll see where that ends. So this end looks like just about where the white finishes, right there. And then on the other side, just about in the radius again of the round over. So I'm going to grab 2 more pieces of the green here. Okay. We could start with this one here. And we want to probably peel this up and redirect it a little straighter. There we go. And peel this side up. Redirect that a little bit straighter. There we go. There we go. Now we're going to put the end. That's good. So we have that all ended. And now we'll just put this other piece of tape in the inside part of the horn and tape that off. Alright, so now we just have this little piece to kind of just do. I don't know if this is even necessary, but I do it. I just kind of put this here. Just to end that piece. Alright, so we're done. And the next job basically is a lot of taping, a lot of wasting of tape. And I use this just, blue mask that you get at the Lowe's or the Home Depot, painter's tape. It's got a lower tack, so there's less chance of sort of like messing things up. Too bad anyway. And just tape everywhere but inside of these lines. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera here, so I don't think you need to see all that. That's pretty self-explanatory, and then we'll be back with the guitar all taped up. All right, so that's a total pain in the ass, but everything is well, almost everything is covered in blue tape that we don't want sort of painted black. I want to do this area, obviously. Kind of just keep it out of the humbucker route. Keep your paint out my humbucker route. Damn it. Okay, so I think we're good to go here. Oh wait, we can't forget that. That is key. I think that was a notch. That's Greg. See that? It looks like a drip, but I think it was a notch in the cardboard. Cut out for folding the box top. So we need to put that in. And we're going to set it back down then again on the projector, and we're going to use a razor blade, and we're just going to go ahead and cut that little notch out. So I'm going to shut this off and we'll go down to the projector again. Alright, so we got the projector back up, and luckily we didn't take it down completely, but we're not going to, because we're also going to use the projector for putting on the 5150 in the right place. So we're going to leave it set up, but once again we kind of have to get this set in place, which is going to be a little bit more difficult to do because of the fact that the it's all taped up, and we can only go off the black stripes now, which are barely there. I think we'll get it. up. That comes down a little bit. All right. Well, we really have to line it up off of this stripe here. So right there. Well, that's it. Right there. All right, so you can barely see it in this photograph, but I'm going to go and draw it with a pen on the tape, and then we'll do the cut in good lighting. But it's right here. That's sort of the outline of it. All right, so we're going to shut off the projector again and go back up onto the table. Good thing we spotted that. All right, so we're back up on the table. The phone might go off a couple of more times. I'm communicating with my partner, Greg. It's like we got something interesting cooking. It may come to pass, or may not come to pass, I don't know. But if it does, it's going to be pretty funny. It's going to be pretty good. So there's sort of the line that we were talking about. And I really think that was from like a box, sort of like cut out, notch out for folding over the flaps. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and take my sharp razor. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut that tape out, that little section of tape out very carefully. Let me get my light a little closer here so I can see what I'm doing. That looks good. There we go. I'll just go ahead and peel it up, and there it is. Tell you, that's probably half the reason why some people end up with more than one of these things, is you can't always get it right every time. So there's like 1,000 different little tasks that have to be completed to make this thing look right. And it's very difficult to get every one of them. About a week after you finish the thing, you're looking at it and you're like, oh, how did I miss that? Missing stripe, missing this, missing that. You know, somewhere it ain't supposed to be. All right, so we're going over it. Make sure that everything where we don't, there's Greg again. Everything that we don't want black on, we ain't gonna get any on. Okay, I think we're good to go. So we're going to use again the Behlen's black nitro lacquer, probably a couple of passes, and we should be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot that, and then I'll be back up, and we can do the peel, and hopefully the camera will work this time.